I'm Noah Hedy from the Digital Media class at Wexford Missaukee Career Technical Center. We're here with the Quick News Update, and we have Matt Stewart from the Cadillac News.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
For Monday's story with the woman who helped in Africa, so what inspired them to help, and how did they fund their trip?
Sure. So Deb Boer went over there first. Her aunt was a Christian, or is a Christian missionary, and when Deb got there, she noticed that the people there were drinking and basically out of mud holes. So it was very unsanitary. In fact, they had some children die. And so she had a friend or someone that was in the church that she goes, donated some equipment to get them clean water. And she went back a few times. And the last time Mary Bellows was a friend, and she asked if she could go, and that's how it went. There was a businessman that helped fund the trips for Deb. I'm not 100% sure about Mary Bellows.
I see. So on Tuesday's reunification trailer, can we get some more clarification on how it's used?
Sure. So what it does is it's filled with computers, different supplies that emergency workers would have, such as vests, and some signage where it would help direct people on where to go. So what would happen is if a school had some sort of emergency, let's say, for example, like a hurricane. I'm using that as an example because that's generally not going to happen. So students would be moved maybe to a certain part of the building. And so the trailer would go into that area, and they would have everything they would need to help direct people, to, computers where they could check attendance list to make sure all the students are accounted for, and also have signage to show where parents and students could meet up. And it would also have things like water and some food supplies if it was going to be a long-term deal and they needed to feed the kids.
Yeah. And do you know, there's an approximate number of people that can fit in there?
It's not really used where kids would go in and stay. It's really kind of almost like a command center, if you will, but in supply trailer. So it'd have a bunch of supplies and a few computers where the workers could go and check lists and check off students and make sure everyone was accounted for. But they would set up an area where students and parents could be reunited.
Another story on Tuesday was the cyber attack. What areas or places are specifically affected, and how will it be prevented in the future?
So it affected everything that's basically connected to a computer, which, obviously computers, phones, your printers, all of that stuff was affected. And initially, none of it worked. And it affected every department at the county building. It also affected the sheriff's department and the jail, but it didn't affect the 911 system and emergency calling, so that still worked. So they did have, for a while there, where they could only do face-to-face type services. But things are starting to slowly come back online. I think they've got, computers back, printers back, and some phones back. And they're working on ways to prevent it in the future. They're working with the FBI, the state police, and some other cybersecurity groups to kind of figure out, what happened and how to prevent it.
Wednesday's story about the Chick-fil-A. Do you have any idea on a possible date of completion?
No. It's still in the really early stages, and I guess you could say it's not even 100% certain it's going to happen. But it looks pretty good. They still have, Chick-fil-A still has to submit a site plan and some details about what they plan to, how they plan to build the building and what it looked like and that type of thing. It's kind of standard type stuff. But they did say if everything goes well, they would like to actually get started in the spring building it. So depending on how quick it goes up, it could be up, before, fall next year. But it's still not definite.
Another story on Cadillac on Wednesday was the Cadillac teen medical recovery. So even though they said it's an unknown autoimmune disease, is there a potential disease that she could have, or?
Well, they're testing her for for different diseases, and they're still waiting for some tests to come back. It's I mean that's the kind of scary part. They still don't really know yet. They have an idea, but they don't know for sure yet. And she's going to basically. It sounds like she's going to be in the hospital through the first week of December, so she'll be there for quite some time.
Is there like any symptoms that she has? I mean, is there an update on her current health?
So initially, how it started was she had some knee pain the day after Halloween, and then it seemed to progress. She got like numbness in her legs, and then it turned to paralysis where she couldn't move her legs, and so it just kind of progressed. And they were concerned that it was going to affect more and more of her body with paralysis, and then she was admitted to the hospital, and she was given a steroid treatment. So as far as, I forgot the second part of the question.
The update on her health.
Oh yeah, so she is getting some feeling back in, I can't remember which leg. I think it's her right leg. I'm not sure, but I think she regained the use of that. But there's still the other leg that she hasn't regained the use of yet. And like I said, they planned that she's going to be in the hospital till the first week of December. So it's a slow recovery process. She's going through physical therapy, trying to build up strength, and then hopefully she'll regain the use of both legs.
Yeah, she gets better.
Yeah, definitely scary for the family.
Yeah, especially when it's unknown.
Yeah. As a parent, it's got to be terrible to see your child suffer like that and not know what happened or what's going on.
How to cure it.
Pardon me?
And how to cure it and stuff.
Oh yeah. They're not, like they said, they're not really sure what happened yet. What she has, and so it's kind of hard to treat it, definitively until you really know. Well, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So what did you think was the most interesting story this week?
I like to think of like the reunification trailer or medical recovery, because it's like stuff that can apply to like me.
Sure.
Because there's like a lot of diseases going around as the weather changes, and also because like it's the trailers for the schools.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Absolutely. And hopefully they never need to use the reunification trailer, but it's there if they do, which is great. Yeah, exactly. Then yeah, certainly the the student with the autoimmune disease, that's just, it's scary and for everybody, whether you don't have to know her, it's just scary for the parents, and of course you're obviously hoping that she does well, and I think there's a lot of people pulling for her, which is great. What was the most boring story?
I don't really think any of them were boring. It was just like...
Which one?
I didn't think any of them were that boring.
Okay,
good. Think, like, I don't know, maybe like the Chick-fil-A one, mainly because it was just my class and wanted to ask the questions.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of interest in that out in the community. Whenever, it's interesting, whenever there's a new business or restaurant coming to town, that's always for us one of our more read stories. There's just a lot of interest in there, and it's good. It shows that there's some development in the area, which is always nice. All right.
Is that it?
Cool. Well, thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Great questions.